Okay, let's continue our discussion in this part of the big picture. We're on the fifth of the six B's. We're on B number 5, which is called behaviors. And this is where we use tactical execution marketing programs, so to speak, to drive behaviors in the customer. And pricing is a very important one. Now, pricing is unique and near and dear to my heart because pricing, of all the 4 P's, it's probably the easiest to do, right? You can change price with just a click on your computer keyboard, but it is extremely important and costly if you get the price wrong because price immediately affects your business outcome. Changing the price high or low, up or down will affect your margins and your volumes and your profitability. So it's a dangerous tool to use, and it's an important and powerful one. The most important thing I want you to take away from this lecture is that price is nothing more than a communication tool. It's a signal. It's a piece of information. What is a price? It's that little price tag on a piece of clothing in the store or online. And what it's doing is communicating to the customer a very important piece of information. Let's talk about price now as a signal of value. In big picture, we think of pricing in 2 terms. One are pricing strategies, and in big picture, we think of 2 particular strategies. You can pursue a value strategy, which is where you're really emphasizing using price to say what the value of the product is. Here's a funny thing that consumers do. You do it, I do it, we all do it. If I take this product, our good old can of sparkling water here, and I have this, and let's say I have another can of sparkling water, and I tell you this one's $10, and this one is only $1.50. Right away you would say, wow, that's $10? What consumers immediately do is they use price to assume which one is the better product. A higher price must mean it's a better product. And if it's a lower price, it must be a lesser product. We all do that because generally, not always, but generally it's the right assumption. So consumers use price to immediately tell them about the relative value of the product. And so when you're pursuing a value strategy, you emphasize the product benefits and why it's worth that price. Now, the other strategy is just the opposite. That's competitive pricing, where you are making a comparison of your price to their price, of your value to their value. And you set price relative to that competitor's offering. Here again, consumers have a very simple rule that they follow. We all do it. If I have 2 products, let's use my hypothetical can here and this this other thing here. This is a candle, and it happens to be green, so it's getting blanked out here. But there we go. Okay, so let's imagine I have these 2 beverage products. If you're dealing with a competitor and your product is identical, you should price your product identical to the penny to that competitor. If your product is slightly better than the competition's, then you should price it slightly better. And if your product truly is not as good as the competitors, you're doing the customer a favor by letting them know that with price by pricing it slightly lower than the competition. The mistake, sort of the rookie mistake marketers make here, is they think, hey, if I have a better product, why don't I price it less than my competition and I'll clean up on the market? No, that's not how it works. If your product is better, you want to price it higher because otherwise you'll confuse the customer. They can't read your mind. So you need to sort it out with them with price and help them by using price as that way for them to determine which product is better. You're not trying to fool them at all. You're trying to show them and take credit and not apologize for having a higher price if you have a better product. That's how competitive pricing works. Now, on the tactical side, we also have 2 options here, and I'll show you how these all link in just a minute. We have trial pricing, and that's what we use to get people to try our product, and that's why it's called trial pricing. And then we have what's called continuity pricing. And here's how those differ. Trial pricing just means that you are offering a temporary discount, an initial discount to get them to use the product. And so you'll see this in many situations in a grocery store with coupons, or you'll get a free trial of a software product for a month, and then you have to pay for it. And so it's a way to induce you, to motivate you to just at least try the product, removes that sort of economic hurdle temporarily. The second tactic is continuity, which is what you do for current customers. You keep continuous normal prices with occasional loyalty discounts to recognize them and to keep them reminded of the sort of the relationship, the partnership that you have with them. You use pricing really to get them to continue to be loyal by giving them reward points. And we see all kinds of reward points, starting with airlines, but many companies now use continuity pricing with rewards to keep that loyal customer. Now, how does this all tie together? Well, here we go. Here's the famous big picture 4 go-to-market strategies, and by now you should recognize this immediately. And what does it do? Well, once again, for each quadrant, the big picture strategy matrix tells you what strategy and tactics you should be using. Let's go through it. If you're pursuing quadrant 1, acquisition leadership to non-category users, you want to emphasize the value of the benefit, the value of the product, and why they should consume it, why they should get into the category. But you also offer a trial membership or discount to induce them to at least get into it. So you pursue value trial. Over in quadrant 2 with your loyal customers, it's value continuity. You see how that plays out? They don't need to, they already are customers of yours. They don't need to be compared to other competitors' products at that point. Emphasize the value through price and occasionally reward them through continuity pricing. But down in quadrants 3 and 4, it's all about competitive comparisons. So we use competitive pricing strategies with trial pricing in quadrant 4 and continuity pricing in quadrant 3, because remember, quadrant 3 are still our customers. They still use us, but they just happen to use competitors too. They are the so-called multi-brand customers. So that's how it plays out with pricing. In the coming modules, we'll continue to look at other executional elements of the big picture.